Have you ever wondered how two people can take completely different paths through life yet arrive at the same place? Welcome to Radiate Happiness Podcast, where we explore life, healing, positive mindset, and the small shifts that help us live a happier and more meaningful life. Today, I'm joined by someone whose work has inspired many. Chandana is an access conscious facilitator, an author, and someone who is passionate about helping people discover greater ease, awareness, and possibilities in their lives. We've both spent years exploring growth, consciousness, and what it truly means to create a joyful life. But here's the part I love most. I've actually known Chandana for almost 60 years. She's my cousin. We grew up together. We share so many family memories. And now somehow we're both grandmothers.
Wow.
Life really has taken us on different journeys, okay? Yet it's also brought us to many of the same conversations around happiness, healing, energies, awareness. So today isn't an interview. It's simply two soul sisters sitting down to chat about life, the lessons we've learned, the wisdom we're still discovering. So welcome, Chandana. So
Uh,
nice to have you here. Finally, we've been planning this for a while, but I'm so glad between becoming grandmothers, we found the time to do this.
Thank you, Anjana. Thank you so much. This is so special. This is this is something that's actually we've been probably planning this and playing this since we were kids. Anyone who knows us knows all the crazy games we played together and how often have we done role play together. And we were probably planning this since we were little kids. So yeah, it's taken a while to get here finally.
Absolutely. But talking about that, if we had told our younger selves at that point that we'd be sitting behind these microphones and talking about happiness and consciousness and personal growth, would you have believed it?
There's I think in our worlds, and if I can say this, and I say it with a lot of authority because I've known myself, I've known you in ways that actually have helped us grow. And the one thing that I know about us is that we've always known that there was more to life than what was served to us on our plates.
Wow.
We yeah we always knew that,
Yeah.
we were dealt out whatever we were. We still knew that there was more, and we were willing to explore that. We were willing to have fun with that. We were not It wasn't, there was no anxiety, and there was no fear, and there was no desperation or a need, but there was a knowing that how much more fun can we add to our lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, do you think there was a particular phase in your life that changed you deeply?
Oh yeah, totally, totally. When you're young, you think you own the world, and yeah, somewhere you do have um, you do have a lot of support from family, from your parents, your siblings. uh, and then when you get older, and like I love to say, whenever people come to my sessions and or to classes, and they'll be like, I was such a happy person, and then I got married. Almost like, well, that's what happened. So yeah, a lot of areas of my life, I look at as before marriage and after marriage. I've been lucky and very blessed that I have a very amazing husband who 100% is out there to support my crazy choices and my growth. Because without a person who supports you, you really can't. It's difficult sometimes to keep going when you are in a married relationship with children. But there was a time when, during marriage, early marriage, I was just 29, and I was diagnosed with something called fibromyalgia. And I literally bought that as a diagnosis. I didn't question it. I did not. Uh, I did not even ask my body what that was. I went into the conclusion that this is a pain that I have to live with for the rest of my life and it cannot be changed. And I did explore a lot of different things at that time. Nothing really was conclusively contributing to the body till I actually got introduced to access. And today I have a lot of gratitude for fibromyalgia, because if I know I was such a stubborn person that if I hadn't, it was literally like I had to be pushed against a wall to finally make a different choice. And that's what it did to me. It pushed me against a wall to finally see and acknowledge the the capacity that my body has with change, with healing, with contributing to the world, and with creation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a moment when actually that period of my life, it was almost 19 years. I think that was a period where I wouldn't say it was an instant change, but that
Right,
period was getting my body, my being ready
right.
to actually choose to be who I came here to be. Because for the
Wow.
longest of time, I was just being that.
Wow. So, coming from where you are, I feel so many people today are searching for something. Some are searching for peace, some are searching for happiness, some are searching for clarity. What do you feel people are actually truly searching for underneath all of this? What, in your opinion, is it? There are so many different classes. Somebody will come for food, somebody will come for weight, somebody will come for peace of mind. But under everything, do you think, in your opinion, do you think there's one underlying thing that everybody is searching for?
For according to me, what I have seen over the years, I mean, I know that you've been in this since forever, Anna. Anjana, you've been doing it since I don't know, almost 30 years now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a long
Yeah.
time.
So for me, it's been about 12 years now. But in these 12 years, I've noticed that when people really come for a session or they come for a class or something, they'll come with a certain problem sometimes. It's like either a body issue or money problem or a relationship issue, or that, I just don't feel satisfied, or I just feel hollow and empty inside me. I have everything, yet I'm so unhappy. Where's the happiness? It's like, they come with all these kind of different things. But deep down, all of that is that you're seeking the true you. It's like you have, in these years, you have kind of separated from who you really are.
Yeah.
So you can make the rest of the world happy. You can fit in, you can belong to everyone. So you're in the need to belong, in the need to be liked, in the need to be accepted. You separate from the being that you are. And the being that you are is so different that you really cannot be accepted. You can just stand out as the difference that you are. So it's only when people come to class or they come for a session, they start to discover that about themselves, and they start to be more of themselves. Everything else follows. Whether it's the happiness, whether it's a body issue, whether it's a relationship, or money, or whatever it is that they've been struggling with, that just kind of it doesn't it's not difficult to receive anymore, because
Yeah.
now they can receive themselves, they can receive the being that they are, that they had actually separated from.
It's really interesting you say this because I remember in my journey, of healing and stuff, especially when I first started and I used to do the bark flood therapy. It's called peeling onions, and I think for most people, when they come for healing, it's like the top of it, but you literally have to peel the onion layer by layer to get to the bottom of
Yes.
literally what it is. It's not, what I've come with a headache, but where is the headache coming from? What is the reason for the
Yeah.
headache is what we say, peeling the onion to actually get to the core of it. That's so true. That's really
Yes.
true. Okay, so there's another question. So, as one thing I've realized with age, okay, I don't have an issue talking about age. People say don't talk about your age, but why? I'm about to be 60 and I'm very happy and proud of it. So
Me
there
too.
we go.
I will always stay younger. I will always stay
Absolutely.
younger you than you by 3.
I know that's also true, but and also I believe age is just a number. So what are we talking
It
about?
is. It totally is.
But they say, but one thing I've realized for sure, talking about age, is what made me happy at 25 is very different to what brings me peace today, what brings me joy today. You know, so obviously, happiness, according to me, happiness changes drastically as you grow older. What is your take on this?
Absolutely. You couldn't have said it more clearly, Anjana, because it's like the being's constantly changing, right? We look
Yeah.
at the body, it's changing. And, the body's changing based upon the chronological age that you go by, based upon, oh, this is how you should be aging, and oh, you don't look your age, or you look your age. These are all judgments that you put on the person based on the body. But the being inside is also choosing. It's not aging. The being doesn't age. The
Yeah.
being changes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so the being is not choosing happiness based on the age. The being is choosing happiness based on the change.
Yeah. Absolutely. I completely agree. But I think back even 5 years ago, what happiness was 5 years ago to what happiness today is so different. And now,
Yes.
both of us being grandmothers, I think life softens you in some ways too, right? How do you think? I know it's really new for you still. Okay, mine's about to be 2 months. Mine is about 2 months. Mine's about to be 2 years old in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
Mine could be
But
four
do you?
months.
Oh, okay, slightly different. But tell me, do you think this phase of life has changed you? Has changed the way you see yourself or you see life? Has anything about becoming a grandmother made a change in you? Like for me, for example, my kids always make fun of me saying, "Yeah, of course, nothing matters now. It's only grandchildren." I'm like, "Yeah, so give me more." But it's like that's what it is. But it's
Oh,
not that. I think there's a very the way I look at it as a grandma, when it's your own child, you have a very different set of responsibilities. But as a grandmother, it's so different because the way we are with our grandchildren is I don't have words to explain it, do you? I'm like all I can think about is
I
I can see his face and just see love right now. That's it.
that's just what you said. You see his face and you see love. I mean, when
Yeah,
I looking at that and I was like, you know, my grandson Jack gets me to believe in love again.
yeah,
Me to believe in unconditional love.
yeah. That's what I was saying. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's like, you have your children and you go into all these responsibilities and then you get so busy with bringing them up in school and then
But
university.
Chandra, if you think about it, I think when our children were young, we had unconditional love from them too. It's just
Yes,
because they've grown up and moved on. Now we're
yes,
looking for the unconditional love from the grandchildren. Is that right?
absolutely. Because we get so busy with bringing them up,
Yeah.
take the unconditional love for granted.
Yeah.
And then over the years, you start to realize, oh, where did that go?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still there. It's still very much there with the children, but they're
Yeah.
adults, right? They're adults, we're adults. But here comes this little, little,
Bundle of joy.
little bundle of joy. And, you literally just hold him and he smiles at you, that toothless grin. And you're like, yeah, there's just so much more available.
I swear people watching this are going to say, what are these two nutty grandmothers oohing and awing about their grandsons?
Well, get to becoming a grandmom soon if you're watching us. Ask your kids to get to work.
But what you're saying, so because we're living in such a fast and overwhelming world, there's so much happening around us right now. There's so tell me what helps you personally come back to yourself when life feels heavy, noisy, exhausting. There just seems to be an abundance of everything else, which is why, like we were saying about the kids, we got so caught up with that we kind of maybe lost something in between on the way. So what is it today that you could use for yourself and maybe help somebody use for themselves, where you can connect back to yourself?
For me, it's really been, it's been getting my bars run.
Yeah.
One is to ask me, what do you do when you feel scattered or overwhelmed? I just get my bars run. And, I spend a lot of time in nature. I just like to sit in nature and just like, hear the birds or just watch the green and just
Yeah.
be honest with nature. And there's this tool in Access Consciousness that I use a lot, and it's called Who Does This Belong To? So
Right.
when I have that overwhelm, I know it's not mine. And I know I probably picked up lots of people's thoughts and feelings and emotions. So I literally go into who does this belong to and return it to sender with consciousness attached. So when I actually say that, I start to recognize that, oh, this is not mine. I picked up somebody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and I made it mine, which is why I'm overwhelmed because it's not mine.
Yeah.
What's will not make me feel overwhelmed.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And in fact, it's so funny you're saying this because as you were talking, I was thinking for July, one of my podcasts is about nature, and the other podcast is on literally what you're saying to yourself, how you're talking. And I've actually talked about one of the access tools there, which I tend to use, which is all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And it's so funny because you're saying this, and I was thinking, I said, how does she know about my July podcasts? So it's so interesting because when you're in sync about things, it's just it's yeah. But I completely agree. For me, nature is one of the most healing things ever, and just sometimes sitting and just like you said earlier, listening to the chirp, you could hear the birds chirping, just listening to the chirping birds, just going for a walk, I know, don't laugh, but I am a tree hugger. If one
Oh,
day
me
I put, yeah, if one day I have to actually put out all my photographs of the different trees I've hugged everywhere. And I slowly am making my husband a tree hugger too.
wow. That is amazing. I still have to get Raj to hug. He takes a lot of walks. He loves his walks, but he's not yet a tree hugger. I am. I am. And when I'm hugging the trees, Raj will look at me and be like, Chandana, what are you doing?
I
I
know.
did. I did. See, if you do something, nothing can.
It's not, the fact that we're laughing here. Have you noticed it's sometimes the simplest things help us so much? Laughter, quiet moments, meaningful conversations, being present. What are the other things that just bring you joy? Now, don't say grandson, you say both of us have said enough of that. Okay, no more grandsons. Our children are
Well,
going to have a complex what listening to this. I don't think any of them are going to hear this.
you're going to be like, where did we go in all of that conversation?
Exactly. So, what are some of the things that really bring you joy?
Oh, what are a few things? There's so many. There's just so many, and most of them are to do with nature,
Yeah.
like long walks, um, a swim, listening to the birds, listening to music, dancing. It's like, and for me, dancing doesn't mean I need to go to a club or one of those pubs to
Yeah,
dance. For me,
yeah,
dancing is just movement in my room,
yeah.
with or without music.
Yeah.
It's just moving my body, just letting my body receive, and it's just so relaxing, so
Yeah.
relaxing. I love water, so I spend a lot of time in water. And if
Yeah.
I can't get myself into a pool, I'll get myself into a tub. If there isn't, I'll get myself under a shower. But so water is very therapeutic. I love cooking. You
Oh,
know,
yeah, of course.
I'm
And you're an amazing cook.
I'm okay. Yeah, I could feed myself. But yeah, I mean,
Take
I
the
fully
compliment when you get it.
thank you.
I
Thank
am a
you.
good cook.
Yeah, I enjoy cooking. It's very therapeutic for me. After a long day, instead of sitting in front of television, I'd rather go to the kitchen and get things out and just, feel the textures and the smell and the flavors and the colors. It kind of heals my body again.
Yeah, I guess. You know, we've had a lot of fun now. Let's get into a little bit of what maybe we can do to better. Let's talk. Okay. So now someone's listening right now and they're feeling completely disconnected or emotionally tired, overwhelmed, anything like that. What if you had a few tools that you've used over the last 12 years, which somebody can access easily or use for themselves? Would you be open to sharing a few tools which people can use every day for themselves? Whether there's an app, whether there's or whatever it is. I would love for people to get some good takeaway of what are the things that you would suggest for them, please.
You know, the first thing that I would share with them is judging yourself is not going to make you a better person. Judging yourself is not going to make you a happier person. It's not like you can judge yourself into happiness. You can't. You judge yourself, you just create more of that crap for yourself.
Yeah.
So, the first tool that I would like to share with everyone is a question that I ask when I am in such a situation is, what's right about this I'm not getting? It's a very simple question, right? It's just a question that is getting me to flip the energy of everything's wrong right now, nothing's going for me right now, into what is a gift in this? Like when I spoke about the earlier on about the fibromyalgia, what was the gift in that? Was my willingness to explore possibilities, was my willingness to be more of me. So asking questions like what's right about this I'm not getting can actually facilitate you into shifting the energy when you're on your own. Then even the question, who does this belong to? Return it to sender with consciousness attached. Another tool, which is interesting point of view. Interesting point of view doesn't mean that you don't have a point of view, but it's more of interesting that it's more of interesting point of view that I have this point of view. So when you call it interesting, it's not a good point of view, it's not a bad point of view, it's not a right point of view, it's not a wrong point of view. You're not fighting it, you're not trying to agree in a line with it. You're just making it interesting. When it's
But
interesting,
you're saying this because you've been in it for 12 years. Now, if someone's just watching this or hearing this for the first time, they're like, how do I just start saying these things? So, what do you have to say to that? It's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I understand it. I worked with you. I've done all of this. But if someone's really is sitting in a frustrated saying, yeah, sure, it's very easy. Whose point of view, interesting point of view. I'm literally coming. I'm
totally,
making
I
it
get it. I
difficult
was
for
there.
you.
I was there once when I had this point of view.
Exactly. So my point of view. My question is, when you were at the peak of what is happening here, what made you? I mean, how did you actually manage to push yourself? I mean, I'm not asking you to go into complete details, but sometimes when you're really in in a low state, what can somebody do to pull themselves out of it? Like, one of the things I've shared in my podcast, and I'm like, we have to realize ups and downs happen in life, right? And all things are going to happen. And nobody's life is just going to be hunky dory or just constantly going up that way, right? And I mean, this is something old and used forever and ever and ever. And I just say, you know what? This too shall pass. It happened the last time it passed. It happened the time before that it did pass, right? So this too shall pass. So that way, I'm saying, what is it that you can say? Let's give them a tool which you think would be the most powerful tool. coming from your point of view?
From my point of view, the most powerful tool would be, who does this belong to? Anna, I have used that tool when I started with access consciousness, when I had the fibromyalgia pain in my body. I would actually use that tool like a junkie. I was addicted to that one tool of, who does this belong to? Because 99% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are not yours, but you have made them yours. Right? So when you start to recognize that, you start to question what you're going through, and you start to recognize, if this is not mine, what am I holding on to it for? It's like, what if your emotions are just visitors and it's not a permanent address?
So what
What if
happens
it's
when you keep saying, who does this belong to? So,
So when you say, who does this belong to, you're actually acknowledging that this emotion, this feeling that you're going through right now is not yours. Now, as a mother, when I started with Access, my older daughter, Isha, used to get a lot of migraine pains, headaches. And my husband, Raj, would also get a lot of migraine headaches. And I had fibromyalgia. So it was like a nice, happy, painful family. I remember when I got the tool the first time and they asked me, who does this belong to? And would you be willing to return it to sender with consciousness attached? And my first reaction was, no. I'm like, I don't want to return it if it's Isha's or if it's Raj's. I want to
yeah.
hold on to it. I don't want the pain to go back to them. And that's when my facilitator explained it to me so beautifully. He said that when you are saying return it to sender with consciousness attached, you're actually attaching the energy of choice to that. So it's not just you who's returning the energy to that person, but you're actually sending choice to that person. So now they can choose to let go of the pain,
Right.
or or hold on to it. Their choice. But you're giving them because consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. So when you're saying return to sender with consciousness attached, you're actually creating a flow for that person so that energy can go through him. Because if you have a pain and I'm holding on to it, we've created a connection of pain between you and me. You can never change it, and I can never change it. But if I let go of that point that I'm holding on to, and I send you choice with it, you can look at that pain and be like, I don't want this pain anymore. Let it go.
So when you say, so it's with coach, send it back to, so what is the exact word? Because I'm pre-lined, because we need to definitely put it down in
Yeah.
the,
It is, it is, who does this belong to? Return
send.
it to sender with consciousness attached.
Okay. So when it says when you say with consciousness attached, what do you mean by that? Just
With, with choice.
with the choice. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what you said.
What are you choosing now? Now that you're getting this, what are you choosing with this? Are you wanting to still hold on to it, or would you let it go?
Yeah, makes sense. Uh, yep, I really hope this helps and somebody ends up using it for themselves. Well, honestly, this has felt not like an interview at all. More like two of people literally sitting and chatting about life and growth and memories and reflections. And I think these actually end up being the most meaningful conversations. So thank you so much, Chandana, for being here today and for sharing so openly. And thank you to everyone who's listening or watching. If today's episode resonated with you, do subscribe, share, leave a review. I will also put Chandana's details down for you all so you can follow her too. Well, if by doing that you're helping the podcast reach more people who may need these conversations too. So until next time, keep choosing joy, healing, positive thinking, and have a positive mindset. And don't forget one thing, the light you are seeking is already within you. Lots of love to everyone. Have a great day ahead. Bye.
Thank you so much, Anjana. Thank
Thank
you.
you.